How will Israel and the U.S. respond to Iran's attack on Israel? A question weighing heavily on the minds of many around the world. As tensions escalate in the Middle East, we find ourselves in the midst of a global concern. Stay with us as we delve into the chronological order of events leading up to Iran's retaliation. Before we dive in, please subscribe and like this video. Iran attacked Israel, but defenses intercepted the missiles, preventing widespread damage. The aftermath of the attack saw a surge of international support for Israel and calls for restraint. The Israeli attack, rooted in the reality of Iran, is expected to occur in the near future, as stated publicly by the Israeli Chief of Staff. The question is, what kind of attack Israel will carry out, and with what intensity? Reports worldwide indicate that Israel is expected to imminently attack Iran, a statement subtly affirmed by the Israeli Chief of Staff yesterday. The impending Israeli attack puts pressure on the regional states, fearing that Iran will retaliate against them following the assistance they provided to Israel. According to reports on Channel News, Israel has conveyed a message to the regional states, stating that the planned response in Iran is not supposed to jeopardize the region's stability or endanger them. From the response, it can be inferred that Israel will take into account the various considerations that the attack may have on the regional partnerships that assisted it in the attack, such as Gulf states, Jordan, and even Egypt, and will not designate them as Israeli partners in the operation. The concerns in the regional states stem from clear statements in Iran, which have issued threats indicating that any state that opens its airspace to Israel during the attack will pay a heavy price and be drawn into the cycle of conflict. In a swift response, the UN Security Council convened an emergency meeting to discuss the crisis. The Council, representing a broad international consensus, urged restraint and emphasized the need for diplomacy to prevent further escalation. This sentiment was also voiced by individual countries, including the UK and Germany, who expressed strong opposition to Iran's actions and called for a peaceful resolution. Meanwhile, the G7 countries, led by the United States, began crafting a diplomatic response to address the situation. These nations, representing some of the world's largest economies and most influential powers, are working together to formulate a strategy that will deter future attacks while avoiding a regional conflict that could have far-reaching and devastating consequences. On the other side of the conflict, Iran, through its UN mission, indicated that it considered its retaliation complete. This statement suggests an intention to avoid further escalation, despite the severity of their initial attack. However, given the volatile nature of the situation, it remains to be seen whether this stance will hold and if a peaceful resolution can be achieved. As the situation remains tense, the world watches and waits for the next move in this high-stakes geopolitical drama.